Hello everybody, it's me, Collision Course 101 here, with a brand new Warframe video. Now, as most of you probably know, yesterday, as I'm recording this, Nidus the Warframe has come out. So, that's pretty cool because he's infested, and he can, he can do all sorts of weird infested stuff, but the big thing about him is that he can open up the infested door, which is all the rage. Now, in order to get Nidus, you are going to have to complete the Glass Gambit quest, which you can start from just going to the parent sequence in any relay. You don't have to be allied with them, much like the new Loka quest to get Titania. That'll be ready because you're basically gonna do the index like a whole bunch. I think it's like 5 rounds of the index or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Now, basically you are betting for some child's life, and it's not really important to Nidus. So if you don't care about the lore, it doesn't matter. So I'll leave that to its own video, I guess. But we're here to talk about how to farm Nidus. Now, as you all know, you have to go to this mission I can't remember the name of on was it Eris? I think it's Eris. You're there in Eris, and basically you have to do a sort of weird mobile defense excavation hybrid where you have to go around to these 3 points A, B, and C and put the anti-serum injectors inside the vaporizers things, and if the bubble's big enough, then you start decrypting a message. Now, if I'm correct, this is from the Jordist Verdict raid, which is probably why this mission is so irritating to some people. But another reason why it's so irritating to some people is because they have the wrong team comp. Now, the generally publicly accepted team comp is Trin, Speed Nova, Hydroid, and Necros. This is wrong on several levels. One thing about this comp is that the Hydroid Necros, it's meant to get a whole bunch of loot, and the problem with that is that, first of all, Hydroid's pilfering tentacles kill extremely slowly, so you're not gonna have a lot of fun there. Second of all, the loot isn't based on like a loot drop chance. So like like with the Necros, like you can't loot the bodies because it doesn't quite work like that. Basically, the drop is based on creatures dying in here. It's not based on it's not based on like drop chance like a plastid would be. So having a pilfering Hydroid and a Necros is completely pointless. Now the team comp I've been running with has been Trinity, Speedva, Ember, and Equinox. Now it's very important that if you do run this build, that Ember does not have Firequake on. It's just gonna cause you a lot of trouble, because if the enemies are stunned and they can't get to the bubbles, then you're gonna have to waste a lot of time fixing your armor integrity, which is not fun. It's kind of irritating. It's a bit of a waste of one of your anti-serum injectors. So just don't bring Firequake, please. And now, as for the rest of the team comp. Well, as for the team comp, I guess. Well, on the subject of Ember, why Ember? Because she's probably the easiest massive AoE killing frame in my opinion. Well, at least for this kind of map, for like infested kind of maps where it's all sorts of wonky like this. It's weird. Oh wait, let me heal. It's just a weird map, and something like Mirage, wouldn't really hit all the enemies. You could go Saren, if you want to. There are alternate ways to do this. Just my preferred one is Ember. And now for the last slot, Equinox. That team comp. Now the Equinox is actually pretty important because basically the way that Equinox's Night Form ultimate works, it heals based on enemies killed within a certain range. And what that means is as long as the Equinox, as long as the Equinox's ult as long as her allies and the Ember are within her range, you will be getting basically just constant healing because of the Ember ult. Now, it's very important. Now, the reason that I use Equinox because it's very important that you have a better healer than Trinity. Because Trinity, first of all, her heal is in a set range, so it's usually too far, especially on not this tile set, but the other tile set. I'll put some footage of that up on screen now. It's very important that you have a better healer than this tiny heal that Trinity provides, as it doesn't really span out that far. Now, as for the Speedva, and the Trin's obviously to keep Equinox and Ember nice and energy-like. And the Speedva is just to get more enemies, basically. Because the more enemies there are, the more chances that you have to get the, what's it called? Anti-serum injectors. Which is always very good. God fucking damn it. And, yeah. Now, there are a few alterations to the build that I have seen work, mostly in raids. One big alteration is, well, actually an easier way to do this. If you like not having to fight. Personally, I like the fighting aspect that Speedva brings because it makes the mission a little bit less boring. But one alteration I've seen to this build is to, instead of Speedva, get a Slova and basically focus all your efforts on an Atlas. And what the team comp is meant to do is basically Atlas will just mash 4. Because as mashing 4 summons in the golems, when it instantly kills them when it summons in new ones. Means you have bodies that pop up, meaning that you can actually get anti-serum injectors, as they're not based off of what dies. It's just based off the idea that something is dying. So that could work theoretically. I kind of like this one more because while that one is, pretty easy, this one is a lot more fun. Like having to actually fight things, it's a lot less boring than just standing around an Atlas who just presses 4 over and over again. Plus, a lot of people might not have Atlas because he's a really irritating frame to farm. Although, I mean, if they're farming Nidus, why not, right? But yeah, so that's my general build. And what the general idea is, as this tile set's not the most common as the other one is, the general concept for that is have the Trin and Speedva camp A and defend that, and then have if the Equinox is the host, the Equinox will just camp B basically, and just go travel over to A every now and then to make sure that there she gets enough enough of the anti-serum injectors, and then the Ember will get C. But an alteration to this that was proposed by my friend was that if the Equinox is not host, so the reason I say not host is because there's a glitch where that could happen to anyone except for the host, where if you leave the bubbles, your armor integrity will not go down. Well, if you assuming that this glitch is still working, what he recommended was that the Equinox, if they're not hosts, go run to B and C, and that everyone else just camp out at A, which is it's a lot better of a team comp idea. Because the Equinox's heals will actually still reach you from that distance, assuming she's running through them, somewhat close to you. Plus, then the Ember is dealing a bit more damage right where she needs to be. And that's pretty much it. As far as weapons and stuff are concerned, it doesn't really matter what weapon you bring. Personally, I'm using Secure Electa just for more credits, but you can bring whatever you want. A few things I don't recommend for this are, like I said, Necros, not very helpful. Hydroid, once again, you need more AoE. Something like Ember, Saren. Nyx, because of the confusion to make the enemies attack each other. Also, like your Narmon 5th ability, if you want the Narmon school, not very helpful. Actually, kind of counterintuitive, really. Because you don't want to CC the enemies. That's the opposite of the idea. So do not go like a Frost, a Slova, a Limbo even. Because you want to be able to hit the enemies wherever they are. You don't want there to be like some sort of like alteration to that. Just keep that in mind, and keep in mind the idea that you're going to have to be killing a lot of infested, and it's not just going to be like a like you really don't want to just what's one, just like camp one area, really. I guess on the other tile, so that's fine, but you really do want more enemies being killed, so you don't want something that's got like not a very good like AoE damage, like a Hydroid ult. That it feels right.